This is the Roulette Master, and I'm so excited today because one of my subscribers, Silent Tiger, says he has a far superior system to 9th Street Roulette. We're going to call this Tiger Streets, and I cannot wait to get to it today, but we're going to go with the original 9th Street Roulette first, which is an awesome system in itself, and I can't wait to see which one of these systems makes the most money in 15 minutes. Silent Tiger says the new one is amazing, so this is going to be a lot of fun, and let's start with 9 streets at $5 each. And here we go. And again, this is a fantastic system in itself. When you get to $45, you know you have 9 of those $5 streets. And you can see we have a zero balance. Let's go ahead and spin. And I'm really excited about today's video and seeing how amazing both of these do. And that is a loss. And with 9th Street Roulette, if you lose, you just double up. 45 to 90 and spin. So those $5 bets go to 10. And here we go. That's a 7 red. And that's a good win. With 9 streets, you need 2 wins when you double. So we're going to try to get 1 more. So let's see if we can do that right now. That's a 6 black. And we didn't get it. So that just means you double the bet again, which is why bankroll is so important. We're going to go from 90 to 180 now. We started at 45, and here we go. That's a 31 black. There's 1 win. We need 2. So we're going to go ahead and rebet and spin. Let's get our second win here so we can go back to base level at $5 each. That's a good win there on 23 red. Okay, now we're up $15. We're going to go back to the original $45 bet with $5 on each. And let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. Let's get some wins at base level here. Should get a lot of them. We have really nice coverage, and that's a 9 red. Good win there. And now we're getting some wins at base level. Let's see how many we can get before our next loss. And here we go. Okay, that's a 0. That's not what we want, but it happens, and we're just going to double up. So we're going to go ahead and go from 45 to 90 and spin with the original 9th Street Roulette. And then Tiger Street's coming up. That's a 30 red. Okay, we got 1 win. We need to get 2. You can see why just by looking at our balance. And here we go. That's a 21 red. There's our second win. Now we restart, and we're up 45. We're going to drop back to our original $45 bet with $5 on each of those streets. And that's a 6. That's a loss, so we're going to double up again. So we're going to go ahead now and go from 45 to 90 and spin. And again, we're looking for 2 wins. And here we go. Let's get those back-to-back wins. And that is a 7, and we'll take the win there. So you can see we need 2 wins. So let's get a second win right here. And here we go again. That's a 30 red. That should be a win. And it is. So now we're up $60. We'll go back to our original 45 now and spin. And here we go. All right. That's a 5, and I believe that's a loss. And it is, so we're going to double up again. 45 to 90 and spin. And it has really nice coverage. I mean, we have 9 streets at 3 each, so we have 27 numbers covered. That's our 3rd 0 this session already. That's pretty crazy, but it happens. So we'll double up, and let's get our 2 wins now. And here we go. Let's start with a win right here. And we got 1. That's a 21 red. Okay, and you can see why we need 2. So let's get a second win here. And here we go. Okay, that's a win there on 22 black. It's time to go ahead and go back to base level at 45. And normally you get more wins at base level than this. So let's see if we can get some $15 wins back to back to back here. But no, we had another loss. That's a 4 black. Okay, so we'll just double up and spin and get our 2 wins. Here we go. And that's a win there on 10 black. Okay, you can see we need a second win. So we'll rebet and spin at $90 total bet with 9th Street Roulette. And again, this is a fantastic system. That's a 15 black. And that's a $30 win. We're up 60. We're going to go back to 45. And you can probably also find the Kentucky White's 9th Street version. That's also fantastic. And on the channel. And that is another win there. we're up 75. We'll rebet and spin. And with his system, you just start with 3, and then if you lose, you go to 6, and then if you lose again, you go to 9, and then you need 2 wins. And before you get to 9 with Kentucky White's version, you just 1 win resets you. So let's rebet and spin here and see how many wins we can get at base level. Okay, that's a 24 black. Okay, and we're up 105. Let's rebet and spin. All right, with the original 9th Street Roulette. One of the most consistent performing systems there is. And that is a loss there. So we're going to go ahead and double up from 45 to 90 and spin. Then you need to get your 2 wins. The advantage of Kentucky White's version is that if you win with 3 streets or 6 streets, you don't have to get 2 wins. And the wins at at those first 2 bets pay more. So we're going to get a second win here at $90. If we don't, we'll double to 180. This is a $2,000 bankroll system. And we got the loss there, so we're going to go ahead and double up again, 90 to 180 and spin. And this is why we have the $2,000 bankroll, just in case something like this happens. You can also play this with dollar units and $400 bankroll. So anyone can play this. And we're going to rebet and spin. And let's see what we get here. All right. That's another loss, 3 reds. So we're going to have to increase again. Again, this is why we need the $2,000 bankroll. And we're going to go to a 360 total bet. But even if we lose this, we can increase one more time here. And that's a 34 red. And we're going to need it because that is bad. We've had a bunch of losses in a row. And we're going to double up to 720. But I'm hoping we get a win right here. Let's find out. Okay, that's a 16 red. That's 1 win. And when the bets get really high like this, unfortunately, it takes 3 wins usually, but that's a decision we're going to have to make here in a second because we have our 2 wins. But if we were to lose this next one, then we would be down $720. So it's a risk. It probably should start over at this point, but we're going to go for a third win here. But if we do lose, we have to think about what we're going to do next because it's a $2,000 bankroll. If we lose 720, we can double one more time or close to, but that's it. So let's give it one more shot here and see if we can get back in session profit. Okay, but the smartest thing to do there probably is to start over and you're back at 0 again basically. But we got the win. Now we're at $240. But that is a risk. So that's something you have to think about if you get to that highest bet amount. And let's go ahead and spin at base level. It worked out for us there. But again, the smart thing to probably do there is to, and we lost that one there, so we're going to double up, is to, you're basically back at 0. Basically, the reason why people have a tough time doing that is because they're like, man, I've done all this work to make, $200 or whatever I'm up. And is it, do I want to go back to where I started? That's the smart way to play it. We took a little bit of a risk there trying to get a third win, and it paid off. But you have to make that decision, based on what your risk tolerance is. So we lost again. Look, we've lost 3 in a row right there. So we got to go to 360. And let's get a win right here. Again, this is a $2,000 bankroll for $5 units and a $400 bankroll for dollar units. Okay, there's 1 win at 120. We need to get 1 more of those, and then we can reset. All right, here we go. The original 9th Street Roulette. We haven't had great luck so far, but we're doing all right. We're up $165, and that dropped us back a little bit. So in this case, again, you have to decide if you get to this high bet amount, do you go for the next one, or do you stay at 165? I would say at this point we would stay at 165. So you just have to make that decision because when the bets get really high, sometimes it takes 3 wins instead of 2. So let's go ahead and spin, and here we go. Okay, and that was a good decision because we would have lost. So we made the right decision there. We're going to double up and spin. And one way to make some of that up is if you have a situation where, we get some wins and we're not at a high amount, you could try to get 3 wins the next time around. So Let's go ahead and try that now. If we stay at this $90 level, let's see if we can get 3 wins instead of 2 to help make up some of that deficit. And there's 2 right there. That's much smarter than trying to get 3 wins at a high bet amount. So let's try to get 3 here at 90. At least this way, if we lose, we're only going up to 180. And we did lose. That's a 4 black. So that was a risk. But let's go ahead and double up now and spend. But it's not as much of a risk as if we had done that at a $360 bet. And man, that is rough. We lost again. So that could come back to bite us, but it didn't seem like that was a huge risk. But let's see if we can get at least 2 wins here at 360. And that's a 5 red. This is crazy. How many have we lost in a row now? 1, 2, 3, and then we also lost the 3 and the 33 and the 4. Wow. We've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of the last 9 spins. That is crazy. Okay, it happens though. We're going to have to double to 720. Let's see what we have left. So we need to get a win here. This is a big one because we're not going to be able to place to double the bet if we lose on this one. That's a 17 black. So let's see where we're at now. We need to get at least 1 more win here. And then we'll see where we're at next. So that is a 9 red. That should be a win. Okay, so now we're back up 30, but we're nowhere near session profit. So again, we have to make a decision. Do we want to stay at this 720 bet? If we lose this, then we'd have close to being able to double once. But it's a big risk. Let's go ahead and give it a shot though, and spin, and see if we can get back in a good spot here. And we got it. We got it. But again, that's a risk. And you have to, assess your risk tolerance if you want to do that or if you want to start back over. We're back up 270 though, so that's the good thing. Let's go ahead and put our 9 streets back out again. And here we go. And never gamble with money that you can't afford to lose. I never, use money that's used for household expenses or anything like that. I keep it in a separate fund for gambling, and that's the way to do it. And let's double up and spin. And you never want to say, I can't pay my bill because I lost money gambling. And that's an 11 black. There's a win. Let's try to get 2. And we're at the $90 level. Let's see what we get here. Okay, that's an 8 black. Okay, so now we're back 285 up, and we'll go back to 45. And this is another, all these systems, it's good once you're up $200 or $300 to cash out. So, if you're up 285, it's a good idea to say, you know what, I'm going to declare victory over the casino today. Like Sonny always says, it's a great way to play. That's the way I do it too. And once you get up a lot, cash out. And but we're going to test them for the full 15 minutes, just like we always do, so that you can see the ups and downs of every system. And I think that's really important. That's why we test these so much. And that's a 19 red. Okay, so we're up $300 now, and we're going back to base level. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. $45 total bet. And here we go. Okay, that's a win on 23 red. Let's see if we can get some wins at base level. And we're up 315. And like before, when we lost 6 out of 9 spins, that's not very normal with 27 numbers, but it can happen. And that's why you want to cash out when you're up a good amount, because every once in a while crazy stuff happens that you're like, man, is that really possible? And unfortunately, it is possible. So when you get up a good amount, cash out. And that's a win there at 30. Let's try to get 2 of those. And here we go. Let's see what we get here. That's a 17 black. Okay, we're up $330 now. We'll go back to 45. And I know I say this a lot, but it's true. The times you lose the biggest amounts of money is when you're up first, and then you lose that amount, and then you press thinking that the casino owes you something. So we're up 345. Let's rebet and spin. And almost always those are the days you lose the most, as opposed to days where you just start losing right off the bat. A lot of times when you start doing that, you just say, oh well, it's a rough day, I'm going to lose some, and you move on. But when you're up and then you lose what you're up, and then you press, those are the days you lose the most. So cash out when you're up a good amount, declare victory. And if you need a reminder, buy one of those cash out shirts at theroulettemaster.com that I wear to remind myself. They say cash out on the front, declare victory on the back. And that's a $15 win there. We're up $390, and let's rebet and spin. And we're right at the 15-minute mark. Actually, this will be our final spin. And that's a 31 black. And we lost that one. So after 15 minutes with the original 9th Street Roulette, we made $345 profit. We had a couple moments there where it got a little bit risky, and we were fortunate to win there on the last few spins of those progressions. So let me know what you think of this down in the comments. Now it's time for the new one from Silent Tiger. This is called Tiger Streets, and I can't wait to share this with you. He's really excited about it, and I'm excited about sharing it with you. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for Tiger Streets by Silent Tiger. He's really excited to share this one with you, and I'm excited as well. Let's place the bets, and I'll show you what is different. So we're going to have $15 on the second and third column as well, and we're going to have our 9 streets, but we're not going to include the one that hit last. So here we go, and let's go ahead and add those in. And once you get to 75, that's your starting bet, and we're not going to increase after every loss with this system. And I can't wait to share it with you. Here we go. That's a 21 red. Okay, that's a nice $30 win. And when we win, we're going to take out that one that hit last, which would be the 21, and then we're going to move it over here. So let's go ahead and do that and spin again. And then I'll share with you what to do when we have losses as they arrive, and that's a 6 black. That's a nice $30 win. Okay, so we're up 60. Let's go ahead and remove that one, and we'll add it in over here. Okay, let's spin again. And here we go again. Let's see what we get. That's a 16 red. That's a partial loss. We do not increase with partial losses on this, but we do move the bet. So let's go ahead and put it over here and spin. If we get another partial loss, we'll increase the bet. And let's see what we get here first, though. That's a 28 black. That's another partial loss. So now we do increase the bet, but first we need to move that one there that just hit. And let's move it over here. And then we're going to double everything. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we're at 150 total bet. And here we go. That's a 24 black. That's a nice $60 win. And we're up $90. We're going to go ahead now, and we're going to go back to our original bet of 75. Okay, and then we need to make sure we take out that one that hit last. So let's do that, and then we'll add it in. Let's add it in right here and spin. Okay, and we're going to start watching our session profit with this as well. That's a 26 black. That's a nice $30 win. Now we're up $120. Let's move that one. And here we go. Let's see. Let's move it over here. Let's see the 25. Let's move it right here. Okay, let's spin. And let's see what we get here. So we're never betting on the one that hit last with the streets. And that's a 15 black. Okay, that's a nice $30 win there. We're up $150. Okay, we'll go ahead and take that one out. And here we go. And let's move it over right here. Okay. All right, doing fantastic with Tiger Streets so far. Let's see if this continues. And that's a 22 black. Okay, that was a full loss. On full losses, we double the bet. So now we're at 150. And let's go ahead and spin. That's a 23 red. Okay, that's a partial loss. We don't increase. So we're going to leave the bet the same and spin. And actually, we needed to move that street. We'll do that on this next one here. And that's a 33 black. Okay, that's a nice $60 win there. So we're back up 75. We're not in session profit, so we're just going to leave the bet the same and spin. And here we go. That's a 24 black. Okay, that's a partial loss. We don't increase the bet. Let's go ahead now, and but we do need to make sure we're not betting on the one that hit last. So that's a 32 red. Okay, that's a $60 win there. We're up 75, but we're not in session profit. However, we need to make sure that we're getting rid of these. And when you, the one that hit last, and then when we add it back in, we need to make sure we add it the same amount as the rest of them. So remember that, since, we're double everything, that's 10 instead of 5. And that's a 5 red. That's a $60 win. Okay, we're up 135. Let's drop back to our original $75 bet. And then let's make sure we take out that one that hit last there. Okay, and let's move it over here. And you can see we still have 15 each on the second and third column, and 5 each on the rest of those streets there. Here we go. And so far so good. That's a 1 red. That's a partial loss. We don't increase. We're up 120. All right, but we do need to take that one out. And let's see. Let's put it right there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. Make sure these look right. Okay. All right, let's see what we get here. That's a 10 black. That's a loss. So let's see here. So we missed the column. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry. We're missing some streets here, guys. Let's go ahead and put that in. I made a mistake there. And okay. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we're missing one more. So let's see. I don't know how I did that, but it says 80 instead of 75. Let's just put these back out again. I think there's something wrong here. So we're going to go 15, 15. And if you ever not sure about something, just restart the bets. We're just going to make sure we leave the 10 out. And then we're going to put the rest of the 9 streets out there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there's our $75 bet. Okay, we have a partial loss already, so if we hit another one of those, we're going to double up. But if you do make a mistake, just jump right back on board. And we all do it, and we're up 140. But the reason why it's so important to practice stuff like this, especially when it's new to you, is because the more you practice it, the less mistakes you're going to make. And practice, makes everything better in life. And that's a $30 win there. We're up 170. Okay, let's go ahead and take out that one there. And let's see, we'll be on this one right here and spin. And I think what happened there is sometimes when you peel the bets off with the clear button, sometimes they don't go back right. So you gotta watch that. And let's see. So we're gonna take that one out, the 5, and let's move it over here to the 10, 11, 12. We're up $200 though, so we're still doing well even with that little mistake there. And let's see what we get here. That's a 36 red. Okay, that's a $30 win. Okay, now we're up 230. Now we're talking. Let's take out this one. And let's put it right there and spin. Okay, that's the big thing he said, is make sure you don't bet on the street that hit last. And that's a 13 black. And the rest of it is the progression, and with these partial losses not increasing. So you can see we're still up 215 after that partial loss. And here we go. Okay, that's a 2 black. Okay, and we didn't get 2 in a row, so we don't increase. We're up 245. Let's take that one out. And I think I might have missed one there a second ago. But that's okay. If you do miss one and you accidentally bet on the one that hit last, it's not a big deal. Just jump right back on board. That's a 33. That's a $30 win. We're up 275. Okay, let's take that one out. And let's put it over here and spin. But again, the more you practice stuff like this and the systems that you're going to play, the less errors you will make. And that's a partial loss. We're up 260. We're not going to increase unless we have 2 of those in a row. And I think the thing that's most challenging about this is remembering to take it out when it's a loss, because there's times when you hit these streets and then they're partial losses. And okay, so that was a partial loss. For instance, we lost that one, but we still have to remove this street. And that's where I made the mistake earlier, was that sometimes when you lose, you think you didn't actually hit the street, but you did. So that's where you have to come through, and that's a $30 loss there. Okay, it's time to increase the bet, and let's see. So let's go ahead and go from 75 to 150, but we only double up with this if we lose twice in a row on partials or a full loss. Okay, that's another partial loss. We need 2 of those in a row to increase. We have to remember here, we got to take this 22 out. And they're all at 10 now instead of 5. So let's put that in at 10 and spin. And here we go. If we get another partial loss, we'll need to double again. And that's a 29 black. Okay, that's a nice $60 win. So we didn't have 2 in a row. So that keeps us alive. And let's take that one out. And that's at 10. So let's move it. Let's move it right there. We're at 245. And actually, let's go ahead and let's see. We should be able to reset now. So let's go ahead and do that. And then when you reset, you can take them completely off. Just make sure that you don't bet on the one that hit last. Okay, so let's do that. And we'll do these 9 this time, and then 15 and 15 and spin back to base level. And here we go. Okay, that's a 6 black. That's a nice $30 win. We're up 275. We'll take that one out. And it's real easy to remember to take these ones out when you win. The harder thing is to remember. The more difficult thing is to remember when to take them out when it's a partial loss. And that's a 31 black. That's a partial loss. We're still up 260. And again, this is the one that's the hardest to remember, but we have to move that. So let's move it right here and spin. If we get another partial loss or a full loss at this point, we will double. That's a 7 red. Okay, that's 2 partial losses, so we double up. But remember, we have to move this. So let's do it. And then double up and spin. So when you're practicing this, make sure you pay attention to moving them on those partial losses. And it looked like we were going to hit 0 there, but we hit 28 black. Either way, that's a full loss. So this is the first time the bets are getting bigger. So we're up at 300 now. And up to this point, I've been really surprised how low the bets have stayed. And let's see if we can get a win here. Okay, that's a nice $120 win. We're up 215. We're not in session profit. So we need to remove one of these, and they're at 20 now. So we have to add one in at 20 if we're going to do that. Let's add this one in right here. And actually, let's use $10 chips so they look the same. And let's try to get one more win here and then reset. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's a 5 red. That's a nice $120 win. So now we up 335 and we reset. So let's just put the bets back out again, making sure we don't bet on the 5. Okay. And this is working really well. So there's 9 streets and then 15 and 15. And he said, just like Sonny, he doesn't like the first column. So he goes with second and third. And let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. And Tiger Streets is doing really well right now. And again, that's the first time the bets have got large at all, which is surprising. And we're up 365. So let's remove that one that just hit there. And then we'll move it over here and spin. All right, here we go. But yeah, with this 75 starting bet, I was worried the bets were going to get really big. But that's the only time they've got big at all. And that's a partial loss. So we don't increase, but remember, this is the hardest thing to remember is you got to move it even if it's a partial loss if you hit the street. So let's go ahead and move it over here and spin. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what we get on this one. And that's a 0, so that's not fantastic. Okay, so full losses, we double up. and spin. And here we go. Let's see what we get here. That's an 11 black. Yeah, that's a nice $60 win. We're up 335. Let's drop back to 75. And I would recommend, because we had that error earlier with pulling bets off, when you go back to base level, I think it's best just to put them back out again. Don't just subtract the bets back off. This seems to be much better. And there's our $75 bet. Let's go ahead and spin. That's 45 plus the 30. 45 on the 9 streets, 30 on the 2 columns, which is 15 each. That's a nice $30 win. Now we're up 365, and we'll take out that one that just hit, and let's move it over here and spin. So doing really well with Tiger Streets so far, and let's see how we finish up here. Okay, that's a partial loss. We don't increase. We're up 350. But we have to remember, even on those partial losses, we need to move the bet. So let's do it. If we get another partial loss, we will double the bet. But it's been amazing to me how low the bets have stayed for a $75 starting bet. But there's 2 in a row partial losses. But we have to remember to move that bet, even though we lost. So let's do that. And let's move it here and then double everything. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's a 15 black. That's a $60 partial loss. So we have to, let's see, that was I'm sorry, that was a full loss. That was a 15. So we have to double everything up. Okay, let's go ahead and spin and get a win right here. We're coming up on the 15 minutes. Let's see how we finish here. That's an 11 black. Ooh, that was a 120 partial loss. And we're going to need to, let's see. No, I'm sorry. That was, that's the reason it was partial was because we hit the columns. Okay, so we're just going to rebet and spin again here. And that's one thing you have to be careful of. Make sure you pay attention to those columns on the partial losses. That's a nice 120 win. We're back up 275. And let's see here. So in this case, you would have to take out the 30. And these have 20 each on them now, so be careful with that. And then, let's see, 13, 14, 15, 10, 11, 12. Let's do the 7, 8, 9. And we'll do 20 on that. Okay, and we'll try to get one more win right here. All right, let's see if we can do it. And here we go. That's a 36 red. That's a $120 win. So, all right. So after 15 minutes, we made just a little over 15 minutes. We made $395 with Tiger Streets. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And this is definitely one you want to practice. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. But at the beginning, I didn't move the streets every single time on the partial losses. I did that a few times. So make sure you practice it and get, feel like you really have a good hold on it before you take it to the casino. But it did really well. And thank you, Silent Tiger, for sending this in. And this did make more than the original 9 streets. And but they both did really well. And this one actually didn't get in as much trouble as the original. The bets got a little high a couple times, but nothing crazy. I was surprised how low they stayed. So let me know what you think down in the comments. And again, thank you to everyone that's been sending the systems in. You guys are amazing. And send those to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com, just like Silent Tiger did. And if you're enjoying the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep growing this community of people that love roulette. This is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.